So,
I can tell
Oh,
somebody in your life reads romantasy just like my wife does.
oh
it
yeah,
ain't me.
oh yeah.
It definitely ain't me. I don't read.
These are
Okay.
all stories he read to me as a child.
It
So,
is, yeah, yeah. Hey, Chase, I still have your baby book. Remember, remember your baby book?
oh my god,
See,
that
there's you right there,
that's
and then
me.
there's me.
Adorable. Oh my gosh. You guys are adorable.
Welcome back to the Casting Cost cEDH podcast. I'm Blake.
I'm Chase, and today we're joined by a special guest.
My name's Yah. I'm a member, co-host for That's a Good Card. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you want to talk about spicy brews, well, no, that's not true. Spicy cards that could be in your spicy brew. We're the podcast for you. We like to talk about more of the fringe cards and talk about the good sides and the bad sides for why you may or may not want to consider a specific card. We have a bunch of episodes, a Patreon, all of that stuff. It'll be linked down below. Thanks for having me on, guys. I really am a big fan, and I'm excited to be talking to you two today about what we're going to talk about.
Heck yeah, Chase. What are we
Yeah,
talking about?
absolutely, dude. Well, today we are talking about this new set that is coming out at the end of this week. This past weekend was pre-release for it, but we got the Spider-Man set. And I know I'm kind of excited for it just because I feel like I'm a Marvel stan and I appreciate all things like comic related. So I've been very excited about this set. I know that so far, the past couple of years, I feel like the Universes Beyond stuff has done really well. We had Final Fantasy at the beginning of the year. We still have Avatar coming up, but today specifically, trying to focus on some of the cards from the new set that might be playable in cEDH.
Nice.
So that is what we are planning on talking about, and whether or not that happens, I guess we'll figure it out. So,
It'll happen. It'll happen. I promise. It'll
No,
happen.
you're good. I will probably do my best job to derail this, so don't feel bad. It's not your fault. It's probably mine.
so, but I think before we do kind of get into that, I did want to ask you, y'all, like, I just made the comment there about the Universes Beyond sets. We had Final Fantasy, we have Spider-Man coming up, we have Avatar at the end of this year. Lord of the Rings proved itself like what, a year or 2 years ago, doing well. Like, I feel like a lot of people have mixed opinions on the Universes Beyond sets. What are your thoughts on these IPs in Magic?
Personally, for me, I'm in the camp of I'm kind of all for it, right? Because everybody has that line, right? Like I think I was at MagicCon when they announced SpongeBob, and it's so 50-50, right? Like the people who were super excited about it were super excited about it, and then the people who absolutely didn't like it, and that's just the way it is, right? And that's just the way things kind of are right now as well. And so I think that the bigger thing to me was immediately that day after the announcement, friends that don't play Magic at all, right? They just know I like Magic and I talk about Magic. They were texting me about, hey, what about SpongeBob? Hey, what about Avatar? Like, can you tell me more about how to like get started into this game, right? And I think if that's what they're trying to do, right? Obviously, they're trying to make money as well. But if that's the goal, is to just make more Magic players, they're doing it, and I think that's a great thing, right? Which means that eventually they'll go into either Standard or Commander, Pauper, whatever it may be, and eventually, hopefully, they find cEDH, right? Our format of choice. And so, to me, it's all good because if I don't like it, somebody does, and that's okay.
Yeah. I forgot who I heard say this, but they I think they looked at it more as like a negative, but they were saying that eventually what it will turn into is like Magic is no longer its own like universe with lore and everything else. It just becomes almost like this rule set. Like this is how the game is played, and then we have all these IPs that kind of dominate it. I can't remember that one card game, but They have like all the different animes that are kind of like thrown into it. I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head. You know what I'm talking?
Vanguard. That's the only one that I know of,
Maybe,
but I
I
don't
don't
even
know.
know how that one is.
I
Somebody
have
will
no
let us
idea
know down
either.
below.
Yeah, but like that's basically what I had heard people say, and they thought that was kind of a negative. They were like, we like the Magic lore, so we don't want to take away from it. I'm all for it. I think that getting more people into the game, if they can find like this nice balance between exploring like the Magic Within realms and like the Universes Beyond stuff, I think that it's a great thing because it was the same way. I literally walked outside my house, and well, I say house, I like rent, but I walked outside the place that I rent, and my neighbor literally stopped me and was like, "Hey, you play that Magic game, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he starts asking me about the Avatar set, and I was like, "Okay,
That's so
cool."
cool.
Yeah, so I'm all
That's
for
cool,
it too.
right?
Yeah. Chase, what about
Yep.
you? How do you feel?
I'll be honest. I used to be more in the camp of like, I don't like this.
Mm,
And I think part of that is like as I was getting back into the game, that's whenever they were like, first starting to introduce it. Like I got back in, like I've taken breaks off and on, but like I tried getting in right before COVID actually hit.
mm,
And that's whenever the Ikoria set came out and they released all the Godzilla stuff. And then I was out for a few years. And then they've done like odd things like The Walking Dead and Warhammer. And, I wasn't interested in anything of that. And then Lord of the Rings came out, and we have seen the impact that some of those cards have had on our format, whether that be Orcish Bowmaster, the One Ring, it, most CISA pilots are playing Iorith now. I'm sure I'm missing a bunch of cards, but OBM and the One Ring are those are pretty good cards. Those are
mm,
pretty big right now. So I mean that's huge. And then maybe some of the Fallout stuff, but nothing too prominent stood out to me. Like I enjoyed the Fallout games,
mm,
but as far as the set itself goes, I wasn't too excited about that. Same thing for Assassin's Creed. Then Final Fantasy came out. I'd never played any of the Final Fantasy stuff. And I didn't know what to expect, but there's been a lot of good things coming out of it. Uh, I feel like this set that we're about to talk about with the Spider-Man stuff, like I was really hopeful for. Now I don't really know how to feel about it, but I over the years and at the time that they have been putting out more things and trying to generate more interest, I agree with both of you. Like it's definitely getting a lot more people into the game.
mm,
And it seems like, they're not just printing just random bullshit. It sometimes they're actually printing good things that are viable even within our format for it. So I think that is like a point that I like to make on the podcast is that it does seem like, especially since last year and whatnot, and Blake and I went on a rant, this past week of things like that. I do feel like they are trying to pay more attention to our space, and I think that is appreciated to some extent. But there is always the point of they are going to make money, and
Oh,
that's
for
what
sure.
these sets do. So
For sure. I think the only other thing I'd add is like I'll be honest with you, when I look at a set like this, um, I'm kind of relieved.
mm,
Right? Everybody talks about
okay,
they just like oversaturation, right?
mm,
And so as a CEDH player, I'll be honest, most of the time when I look at cards, like I'm just looking for that really broken thing that I could play, right? Maybe a pet card here or there, but overall, if I look at a set initially and like nothing completely jumps out as like, oof, that's going to really make or break this game,
mm,
it's kind of a relief, right? I'm not playing standard, right?
yeah,
I do play a little bit of Popper, and then I occasionally draft. But honestly, when I draft, I kind of draft for Commander anyways. Like and so I'm really bad at draft. So a set like Spider-Man, I kind of appreciate for what it is and like just getting new people in the game, but from what I've seen, there's only been like a very small handful of cards, right? It's not quite like to the caliber of Final Fantasy or the Lord of the Rings, right? That
right,
really like gave us a bunch of staples, right?
mm,
yeah,
It's cards that I can't even talk about on the podcast because even from the get go, it's like, that's just really good, right? That's going to see play without anybody speaking on its behalf, right? Like uh, it's almost better for my podcast with Kyle to wait like 6 months and go back and go, okay, what did we all miss? Right? What was a card that only like 12 people picked up and started playing? That's where I get excited about sets like this. Is like, okay, maybe we overlooked something, right? And it wasn't completely busted at first. It's busted later, and it's kind of nice that way, so that I don't feel over just like oversaturated with stuff with the product, but I do, right? It's like, whoa, it's already time. Like, what did we just Final Fantasy was just, I felt like just yesterday.
Yeah.
Dude, I didn't even know that they fully like spoiled everything for Spider-Man. I didn't even know that the pre-release is going on. I forgot the release date because they've already been spoiling all the Avatar stuff. You know, we've already gotten so much stuff for Avatar that they've kind of just brushed over this one. And so
I'm kind of looking past it too. Yeah, I agree with you. I'm kind of looking past this set a little because I'm so excited for some of the sets, and it's funny because I'm not as big of a Avatar fan as I am a Spider-Man fan. I'm like you, like I really like comic book stuff. More of a DC guy, but Spider-Man is a huge one for me, and I'm not as excited for this set as far as a Magic set goes as I am for Avatar personally.
Yeah.
Well, what I think's funny, like I professor, like the Tulane Community College, like he made a comment about that where it feels like it's almost like they shoot themselves in the foot a little bit because they will show a set and then right as that set's releasing, we're getting spoilers for this other set, so it like takes all your attention off of the set that's actively being released and pushes it to that next one. I do think that's one thing that they could probably do a little better about, like let the set actually release and then build the hype for the other set. But there's also just so many cards coming out of these sets that it's tough to condense it all down in that little window. But then also that just shows you that like a lot of sets are coming out. But I don't know. I'm never gonna be upset about like having more cards to play as long as like because if they're printing good cards, then I'm gonna be like, sweet, I'm gonna go pick some of these up. I'm gonna test them out. I'm gonna see if they're good or they're trash. But I think that like if I was looking at it strictly from like a competitive sense, I think that it's almost hard to play test all the cards that they're printing because you don't want to make huge changes all at once to your deck. And with every set, I feel like there's several cards that you could like put in and like throw into this slot and try it out. And then by the time that you're like, okay, I'm actively testing this card, here comes a new card that you're like, oh, okay, I'm gonna have to test that too. And now you got to find a slot for it and you got to figure out what to pull for it. But you're actively testing this other thing, so it can be a little difficult. But I don't know. I'm just excited. I just like playing Magic. If they keep printing stuff, I'm gonna keep slapping it into my deck, and then we'll just see what happens.
Agreed. Very much so. I agree that.
Absolutely. So, I usually scramble to do just a little bit of research the day of because I have been keeping up with everything as much. I know Blake typically never looks at anything.
No.
He's just like,
No.
"What's that do?" So,
if it was not for Chase, we would not have these.
I hear you.
Probably true. That's probably true.
100%
And I know
hear
that you were saying before we started recording that like you had kind of like not been following this as much. So I kind of like that though, just because I think it is kind of like a almost raw reaction to things. It just saying if it'll stick on our format or not. So
yeah, let's do it.
You ready to get started?
Yeah,
All right, cool.
Let's do this.
Cool. So typically, let me see. Let me get this pulled up. So I kind of go in Wooburg order for things. Let me find my list, make sure that I'm getting all this right. Just a few cards, maybe from each color. The first one that I want to talk about is Spectacular Spider-Man. So for a colorless and a white, we have a legendary creature, Spider-Human Hero, with Flash, and then it has two activated abilities. One for one colorless, Spectacular Spider-Man gains flying until end of turn, and then the other ability, you can pay one, sacrifice Spectacular Spider-Man. Creatures you control gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn, and it is a 3/2. What do you guys think about this card? Just kind of like hearing the stats and things like that.
Were you able to take all that in? Yeah, I know it's a lot whenever he's just reading it.
I am familiar with this card. I think it was one of the first Spider-Man cards itself, actual Spider-Man cards that was revealed. So I think I looked at this and wasn't too. I was whelmed. I think is the best way I'll put it. Not overwhelmed, underwhelmed, just whelmed. Yeah.
Hey, and that's okay. There's probably gonna be cards on this that make you feel whelmed. There are probably a lot of cards on this that are gonna make you feel underwhelmed, and that's okay. So, but I kind of had the same reaction. I think that whenever I first looked at this, I'm just like mono white Spider-Man. Like, there's a lot. I'm gonna hope that they're gonna print a lot more things. And I was going through this card, and I was looking at it today. And I was like, wait a minute, this thing has flash, and it's a 2-drop, which I mean, low to the ground. It's a 3/2. So, and it's in mono white. So, I mean, it could be played with Timna if it wanted to. And then I was like, wait, that second activated ability might actually be okay, where you're actually paying the life and then sacrificing it, giving your stuff giving your creatures hexproof and indestructible until end of the turn. And like, even though there's not, people are kind of running very limited, like board wipes and spot removal and things like that. It kind of made me think, and I'm like, okay, if even decks like Blue Farm are going more in this direction of like trying to have more creature base, and we're starting to see some of these creature based decks starting to pop up, like even like Dog Thrass or things like that. Could this see a home in one of those decks?
Would you play this in Sisse?
Me personally, it's interesting. I think that as a Sisse card, I could see it as this being like, I don't think it'd be anything that I would necessarily want to pay Wooburg into, but in my variant of Sisse, where I'm like focused on the pod stuff and I'm trying to be not as, I guess, thinking about drawing the cards, because that sometimes is the problem in Sisse of like you draw into your win cons or things like that, and then it just it makes it hard to do what you're going for. I draw into this, I might be able to flash it in and save my board, or
Yeah.
prevent my board from being wiped. That's kind of how I see it. It's like, it's not a card maybe I would tutor for with the Sisse ability. If I had to, I could, but it's definitely a card like if it's in hand and I need it to be able to stop, a removal piece, or someone's trying to flash in a Bowmaster in response to whatever and be able to ping off my table, it might come in use. Now, whether or not that would actually happen, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, because like it's a pay 3 essentially, right? To give your board hexproof and indestructible, which, as like you were saying with like the Cradle Farm tables, and people talking about not tables, pods, with the Cradle Farm decks, and pods now looking to run more just board wipes, like this may be playable if you're really down bad and that like everybody in your pod is now teching against you. Like, I could see this kind of being a thing, but for potentially tournament play, I don't know if this is like good enough to make that cut. I think this is a easy meta call type of card, right? Like for this type of effect, if that's what you want, and it gets you that. Kyle and I talk about like the gotcha, like it kind of can come out like, but
Yeah.
you're still having to hold up 3, right? A white and 2 generic, to be able to kind of do that. Which, ooh, the more I talk about it,
See,
I don't know. Like, I don't know.
I think
He's going. That's not a good card.
I don't know.
That's Kyle. That's what Kyle's gonna say. That's for sure. I'm pretty easy to
Yeah.
please, and even I'm having a hard time.
Yeah.
The moment I knew you were easy to please was whenever I pitched Angel's Grace to you, and you're like, "Good." You're like, the only card that I hate is.
Oh my god, I haven't hated a card more.
The only card I asked him, I
That's
was
so
like,
funny.
"Is there a card that you hate?" And he was like, "Pact Invocation."
I do. I don't like it. I just don't like it.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's part of the problem with like the draw meta a little bit. Like, I hear about people like, like mulliganing, like they're in 4th seat, they've had to go down past 6, and now they're mulliganing 4, like a way to potentially just draw the game. Like, that's just bad. Like, that's part of the problem, right? And so I'm not saying we need to ban it or anything like that, but it's not my favorite card, right? I try to I have a brew of Sisei. I cut it, right? Just because
Right.
I'm not gonna. I don't want to necessarily play police. Like I have some counters, but I think that a card like Spectacular Spider-Man just costs too much, right? Like it's a bit too much to do its thing, right? By the time that if you're trying to protect a board, like it's a lot of resources sink into it.
Yeah.
No,
And the only deck I can think of that can play this right off the bat is maybe a Sisei that really wants to protect it, or like you said, Dog Thras. Sorry, Blake, cut you off.
No, you're good. What I was thinking, so the moment I saw this, like it reminds me of Felia because it has like that weird like pseudo haste, and then like because of the flash, and then like it's the same mana value. But what I think that this could go in immediately, the first deck I thought of was Winota.
True, Winota.
Yeah,
It's also a human, which is kind of a big deal. For it can be flipped. You can put this into play.
yeah. So I was thinking that was pretty good, but that was all I was thinking.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, think about it. It has flying, so the next thing you know, you get the one guy that gives everything like double strike, and then you're just beating people's face with Spectacular Spider-Man. But no, I kind of agree with you. I don't think that this is going to see a ton of play, but I do think it's obviously got its like niche things. Also, like a deck that I was thinking about, like could I fit this in, and I would probably not play it, but I've been thinking about retooling my Jessica Ishai list because most people play that as like find infinite mana and do Jessica stuff. I just want to play it as like protect the Ishai and just murder bird, and then I just play a ton of
beat pace.
Yeah,
beat pace.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And then I just play a ton of counters in the deck. That's like all I want to do. So I think I'm gonna look at this card and maybe test it just because like why not? It protects my Ishai from that pesky path whenever I'm trying to swing and kill somebody. Because it hexproof. But if not, then oh well. We'll just see what happens. But I actually like the card. I think that it seems kind of interesting. I think it fits in more things. Like the further away from the top tier stuff you go, I think it fits in slightly more stuff than I would like than a lot of people would initially think. So I'm curious.
Yeah, I agree.
Well,
I will say the variants for this card, all the different like arts for it, way cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and my final thoughts on that, whenever Blake was saying like when you get away from like some of the top decks, we've even seen times blue farm lists, and I'm not saying that this is correct whatsoever. It's not typical of blue farm lists. We've seen blue farm lists running Boromir.
Yeah.
In the 99, in which that's like a sacrifice it and give all your stuff indestructible. That I guess that kind of see those two cards as like in that same space in a way. Whereas this Spider-Man is definitely more of the gotcha, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So I think overall, we're not gonna do like a rating on these. I don't want you to think that, but yeah, I even though I brought it up, I do kind of agree. I think it is a little bit underwhelming. So we'll probably find that as a theme for most of these. All right.
I'm gonna make a point to kill you with this card, Chase.
Ooh. I'm excited about that. That's gonna be interesting.
Okay. So the next one, and I guess I'm kind of thinking this one is a little bit of a Sisei card as well. The next one that I'm pulling up for mono white is Flash Thompson, Spider Fan. So for a colorless and a white, it has Flash. And when Flash Thompson enters, choose one or both. Heckle, you can tap target creature. Hero Worship, untap target creature.
Untap target creature or tap target creature. We almost never want to tap it.
Almost never. Yeah. So I think that this is one that some in the Sisei Discord, at least, we're kind of talking about is kind of being able to use as like another Derevi type effect within the deck. Yeah, you're missing out on 2 color pips, but as far as something that you can flash in from hand, be able to untap like a Bloom Tender or a Fabral Elder, be able to make more mana, like things like that. That's kind of where I'm going with this card. Not saying that I'm going to play it in that deck, but I think that that is something people are kind of looking at or speculating on, maybe even in Derevi itself.
Okay. I can see that now, like with a Emil or a Displacer Kitten type of effect. Like I think it's definitely worse than Derevi, right? Just because it only untaps a
Absolutely.
creature, right? And so you need to. It's kind of weird though, because like you also need a haste enabler, right? So some kind of like a. You do need to be on Tyvar to give your creatures the ability to tap right away. So I think that. Yeah, actually, you're right. Like in a Derevi list, this could be pretty interesting, right? It's another type of untapper for a creature. It's kind of neat.
Yeah, even Tyom. You know, Tyom's already playing
True.
Tyvar, being
True.
able to get it and like untap some of the, you know, because they do a lot of, at least the player that we have in our local scene does a lot of untapping of Bloom Tenders and Faber Elder and things like that. Has Tyvar being able to make more mana and just kind of keep going. Low to the ground, fits within that deck. You know, could see some play in that too. I think. What do you think, Blake?
I am not 100% sure. I kept trying to think on like what it could fit into, and I was thinking about my goofy Thrasios deck that I'm trying to build, but then it doesn't fit into that color shell where like you just turn your Cradle and like your Sarah Sanctums and stuff like that into creatures, and then you could use this maybe to like abuse it and like untap them if you could find a way to like blink it and do stuff. But that's a lot of setup, and so I can't think of any way I'm
Yeah,
gonna abuse it.
yeah,
I do think that
yeah.
if you were able to like, I'm trying to think, like maybe if you were able to do some sort of like cloning of this, like if like almost like a Spring Heart type of deal where like you're making copies of this, and then you have a creature that's
Hey,
tapping.
well, hold up. It's legendary. Legendary. I may
Well,
not
you
have
still
said
get the
that.
ETB, right?
Yeah, you do still get the ETB,
That's all
but
I care
I
about.
think that, well, and that's what kind of prevents it from going off in something like, you know, like a Kiki Jiki or a Jolly Balloon Man type combo or anything like that. So like, you know, the it being a legendary is actually the kind of limiting factor, I feel
Hmm.
like, in it, because I do think that this is an ETB that could be abusable. Yes, there's a lot of setup that you have to kind of be able to give it haste or be able to do something right away with it, but it just doesn't fit in those lines for that reason, you know. So I don't know. It's definitely an interesting card. Yeah, you will find that we stretch a lot to try to make the card sound playable, and
I'm all about that. That's what I do on a weekly basis. Stretch to show that there are some real upsides to a card, especially when it's recommended to me. No offense, please recommend cards. I love it.
absolutely. Well, hey, but you know what? That I think that brings up a good point. Like, you know, not just drop it down in the comments below. Like, what are the cards in this set you guys are interested in? You know, y'all already talked about, you know, that's a good card and the work he does with Kyle. Please go check them out. Like, if you're not
Appreciate it.
familiar with their work, like, please go give them a like, subscribe, you know, recommend cards for them to talk about. Like, I think that they do a really good job with things and
Well,
they're fun to work with. So
well, since we're on the subject, and you guys, I noticed you didn't bring it up, and I know that you have been. You're probably, if you're listening, you're probably part of the 81%, maybe 80% now, that isn't subscribed to this channel right here. And I want you to take a look, stop, pause the video, look at that button right about here. If it doesn't say subscribed, click that button. Maybe even click the bell so that you're notified whenever they upload 3 times a week.
Heck yeah.
Thanks.
There we go. He even got the percentage right and everything.
also.
I watch your content.
We watch y'all. Good. That's so awesome.
That's awesome.
Chase, what is
Oh,
our
but
what is
man.
our next card, my friend?
Our next card,
Oh yeah.
I think I am moving out of white. And then if there's anything that you guys have seen that you want to talk about, feel free to like include it, because I probably missed a bunch of shit. And I, like I said, I'm just skimming through this and we're gonna keep going. So I'm in mono blue now. Let's
Ooh.
see. What did I pick out? So, this is one I think that Zarek actually talked about in our Discord. So, Lady Octopus, Inspired Inventor. So, for 1 blue, we have a legendary creature, human scientist villain. Whenever you draw your first or second card each turn, put an ingenuity counter on Lady Octopus. Tap, you may cast an artifact spell from your hand with mana value less than or equal to the number of ingenuity counters on Lady Octopus without paying its mana cost. And it's a 0/2.
Hmm.
So for 1 blue, trying to kind of have a creature where you can somewhat cheat artifacts into play. Um, I don't know. Definitely, it's definitely an interesting like design space, right? Like I think the closest thing that I can truly think of to this is something like an Aether Vial, which doesn't see a whole lot of play in our format. Like there are some lists that even I've tried to run with, to say again, that have played it. But that's the closest thing I can kind of think of to that effect in particular. Now, yeah, it's 1 blue. It does trigger on each turn. So it'll trigger on your opponent's turn. So if you have Heuristic Study or anything like that, it'll get the counters on there. But you're still casting the spell. So it's still that's like the big drawback to it, is that it can still get countered. You can still get Mindberg trapped, anything like that. It's not like that true protection. Like even if someone is playing Aether Vial, that's just putting it directly into play, doesn't use the stack, we're good. This, it still uses the stack.
Yeah, I mean, I think this card is cool. I'm like pretty intrigued with this card. It's one of the cards that I definitely noticed and paid attention to. I think it will be better in the 99 as rather than a solo mono blue commander. Although I mean, 1 cost is so cool, and like you can really kind of you mulligan for a fish and then this and try to get both out on 1 turn and hopefully can kind of go to the races with like a 1 ring, right? But I think that it's definitely better in the 99 and especially in either of the Joyra lists, right? Either the Storm one or the one that also takes counters every time you tap it, right? And then you can put that one lets you put a artifact into play. So it may be playable there, but I don't touch. I play a lot of decks, like a lot of decks, but that is not one I've touched yet. But this card makes me rather interested in either Joyride.
Oh. Chase, what's the other side of Jorah say?
Which Joyride?
I
What are you
will
talking
I will
about?
never admit that it is the Weatherlight Captain.
It is.
That's what he's
Oh
trying
yeah,
to get at.
the other Weatherlight Captain. That's right. That's right. There's
Yeah.
Joyer Weatherlight Captain, and then there's also
Ageless
what's the other one?
Inventor or something like that.
Yeah. One does the counters, and the other one does the storm, right?
Yeah. The
Like
Weatherlight Captain is the Storm one. No, we were covering. I mentioned Jorah one day, and I told Chase, and he looks it up, and he goes, "No," and he's like,
Weatherlight Captain.
"Yeah, Sisse is the only Weatherlight Captain, David."
So, Blake, what are your thoughts on this card?
We're gonna use a term that we used to say for a while back. This is dog shit.
I think I know. Yeah. That's what I thought you were going to say. Yeah,
I don't think this is good.
Yeah, it's definitely one that I think people had looked at, like a first initial thought was just like, hey, that seems really cool, because it is like a cool design space.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's going to be one that like people are going to find out, oh, this is not as good as what we think it is. And I do think that though the design of it or what it's trying to do, I do think that that is something to potentially like continue exploring with like different cards that are printed in the future. I do think it's unique enough to be able to do that. But yeah, again, I'm kind of with you on this one. I'm just not seeing it.
Yeah.
The only other thing I can maybe say, and I don't even think the deck would truly want to play it, is like with it being a 0/2, Plagon might want it, but that deck has kind of fallen out a little bit, I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
If it
that's
literally,
that.
sorry, go ahead.
No, you got it.
I was gonna say if it literally just said put it straight into play, then maybe it would be a little better. Being able to like, I don't know, if maybe you slam it into like a Rog Thras and then or a Rog Sai, you're drawing cards, or you're doing something, and the next thing you know, you're like, here's an uncounterable defense grid. Like, good luck. What do you want to do? But the fact that they cast it and then they still have the chance to counter it, I don't know. I'm not seeing it.
Yeah. I mean, it does kind of get around timing restrictions, which is cool.
Yeah,
But
but
I'm
also,
actually
yeah.
go ahead.
no, you're good. Go for it, brother.
No, you're right. The fact that it gets around timing restrictions is what made me think that there's the new Jeskai commander. I think it's Kilo
Oh yeah.
that
Mhm.
like lets you proliferate. So that deck already wants to do like dramatic reversal type effects and wants to proliferate. So it could be pretty interesting to try to. Yes, you're casting, but at the same time, if you're able to also just get into an engine where you're untapping to do an effect multiple times, this might be. I can definitely see this being played in a Kilo deck, right? To try to cheat in big artifacts like the Endstone. Is that the one? The Endstone's the
That's
one
from the
where
that's from
anytime you play
yeah.
a card, I think you play
I
a
think you
spell,
cast a spell or play a land.
you draw a card, right?
Yeah.
And I think that, I mean, technically with the Endstone, right, and like a Kilo type effect, you do like that it's a cast, right? Because now you're casting that artifact spell, and so you're drawing a card, whether regardless if they counter that spell or not, right? You're still going to get that counter, assuming you get this up to 7 ingenuity counters
Yeah.
and the Endstone out, and it makes it onto the battlefield. Also, gets you to potentially not cheat, but like cast a Bolus's Citadel for free, which is always hot to me. I always look for ways to
That's
cheat that
pretty
one
cool. Well, and on the text it says whenever you draw your first or second
in. Yep.
each turn. So it triggers twice. But
Whenever you
then in
draw
turn
your
it,
first or second, what the hell? Why? What? Whoa!
yeah.
Whenever you draw your first or second card each turn, so you can get. Oh wow, this does get pumped up quite a bit if you can get multiple draws in a turn.
Yeah.
Wow.
So maybe being able to avoid timing restrictions with the Endstone or Bolus's Citadel is a little bit more
Bolus's
realistic
Citadel,
than we
in
thought.
Sisay, I'm making it happen. Somebody else is already doing this. I'm so into this idea. Oh wow. I'm actually that's kind of cool. I love Bolus's Citadel.
Y'all's rethinking this card.
I'm really rethinking this card. I think it's probably still like mid tier, if not on the bottom side of mid tier. But it, it it needs a lot of synergy, right?
Yeah.
It's a card that needs a lot of
Absolutely.
synergy. It's not good on its own.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Probably.
Hey,
I
and
can't work
plus
with
in
my own
Sisay,
words.
we play a lot of just like meh cards anyway. We
Yeah,
just jam things in there and go, this is working. So
this replaces like that. What is it? The K9 like Mark whatever.
Mark 9,
see,
I
Oh
think.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I
K9,
yeah.
Mark something.
K9's actually really good though.
I agree. I was
K9,
joking. I don't think this
K9's good.
replaces
I
any
don't block
card.
it. So okay, I am going to move on
As
because
you
we could
heard by
spend a
my
lot of time
rating,
on
I
this.
think this comes out the backside of the K9. But go ahead.
Fair enough. All right, so the next one that I have on my list, oh no, and this is one that I just kind of saw and I was like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that this was a thing. Hide on the Ceiling. So for X and a blue, exile X target artifacts and/or creatures. Return the exile cards to the battlefield under their owner's control at the beginning of the instant, and it is an instant.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, I think that.
Kefka could play this.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Well, and I mean, you did just cover the displacement wave stuff. I mean, to some extent, it can be that. I think that you know, Blake, you and I have kind of talked about at times like being able to utilize effects like the Touch of the Spirit Realm, like just being able to even single target removal, and in this case, being able to pick your targets that are kind of locking you down in that moment whenever you
yeah.
need to go off. And then if you get stopped, guess what? Those pieces are still they're coming back. So that way it can kind of prevent your opponents from being able to take off after you've made that attempt. You
Mhm.
know, like, you know, I feel like we keep going back to Sisay as an example. I don't necessarily think I'd play this in Sisay, but like if I did, it removes like the opposition agent, the Draenith, can hit the Grafdigger's Cage or Curse Totem
Mhm.
or things like that at whatever I need in that moment. Yeah, I'd have to pay the X into it, but in that deck in particular, if I'm trying to make that much mana anyway, then my hope is I'd be able to pay for it. I don't know, but it definitely is an interesting card. I think that it being an instant speed is what helps it, and that's what caught my eye
Mhm.
on this too.
I think. Oh, go ahead, y'all. Wait a minute. We've been doing this in the correct order. Go for it.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm actually going to look something up real fast.
All good.
You go ahead.
I think that it. Okay. Does Jorah say when you cast the artifacts or whenever they come into play? Do you know?
I think that's what he was looking up.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
No, I'm looking up something else. Go ahead.
Because like I think
Okay.
that this would be. I honestly think that this could be a really good card in something like Golbez because I know that that's on ETB. So if you could exile your artifacts and then bring them back into play, do a bunch of surveils. I also think that this is probably really good in like Tivit because for like 2 mana you get to bounce your Tivit and then get a like basically a whole nother Tivit ETB, stuff like that. And also I'm trying to think of
Well,
like
same thing with the Traxa.
yeah, Trax is another example of that, which would be really
Yeah.
really good. So yeah, I mean honestly, I guess wait under their owner's control. Um, could you technically tap? I mean, even with this, you could technically what? You could tap your Wishclaw talisman and then bounce the Wishclaw, right? Exile it, and then whenever you actually resolve the effect, you're never exchanging control. So then, whenever it comes back on your field, too, correct?
I believe so. If it says owner's control, I
Owner's
just
control.
read the card. I should be able to. I
Yeah,
should have it still pulled up.
all good.
Yeah. So as long as it's owner's control, yes. If you pass the wish claw and then you use this to blink it, it will come back to you. I mean, technically speaking, you could because it comes back at the beginning of the end step. You could get another tutor out of it if you
Yeah,
wanted to.
yeah,
Um, so
yeah. And the other
yeah,
thing I
y'all.
like is
What were
just
you?
is that it's instant speed. But go ahead, my bad.
No, the card that I was looking up, just to make sure I was reading it right, I think this card will. I think that. Wait, is it hide in the ceiling? Wait, is that what it's called?
I think it's hide on the ceiling.
Hide on the ceiling.
High on.
So a card that I thought about this being similar to, but definitely not the same, is March of Swirling Mists, and I don't think
Yes.
we see that card played much at all anymore, right? I think it may see a little bit of play because, and you guys may put it up on the screen right now, but real quick, it's a card that you can. It's 1 blue and an X, but you can also exile a blue card from your hand, and X will equal 2 based off of however many blue cards you exile,
Mhm.
and then up to X a number of target creatures
Mhm.
phase out.
Mhm.
And so that one only hits creatures.
Mhm.
They also phase out, but like phasing out, depending on where that person's creature or like who it is, like where they are in the turn cycle, it could actually open up.
Mhm.
To your point, like open up the window for somebody else because like it's not coming back immediately on the end step. And so I do think that this card is opens up more lines of play, right?
Mhm.
Rather than like March of Swirling Mists, that is really only there to kind of like phase out an Oppo or a Dranith Magistrate so you can go and pop off, right? For relatively for 1 blue, right? Because chances are you're going to be exiling a card from your hand and you're going to try to phase out up to 2 creatures with it. But this hitting artifacts as well as creatures, and then giving you potentially the upside of an ETB effect, I think is rather big, right? Like I do think about Kefka right away
Mhm.
with like an ETB that is really relevant right now. Like if he can go to combat, if he can, actually, there are some people who can like who play Arena of Glory, right? So they can cast it, get the effect, go to combat, get the effect, and then cast this in the second main to also get the effect. Like you're now that player's up like at least 3 cards. And then and stripped each opponent of 3 cards is kind of wild. Like that's a Magic Christmas Dreamland type of scenario. I think I might have just talked myself into this card. It's kind of hot.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I was kind of thinking about too is if you cast, like, say if it's about to go into your turn and you cast this at the beginning of your opponent's end step, this won't trigger until your end
Correct.
step.
Yeah.
Correct.
So, I mean, you kind of phase everything out, and like if you have that excess mana going into your turn and able to like get whatever pieces you need to remove before you go into your return, that seems pretty good.
Well,
I like this card. This is really cool. This is a good one.
Well, see, and that was the thing that I was thinking about with the March too, because that was the first card I thought of whenever I read this card, and I'm glad you brought it up because I literally totally blanked on the name of the card until you said it. But no, I think that it's really good. I think that the one upside, honestly, that this has over something like March is that, again, like they come back at the end step, whereas with March they phase out, so it doesn't come back until like your opponent before they untap. So if you're
before they're untapped, yeah.
If you're like, hey, I want to shut off this, I don't know, like you again, like Oppo, or I want to shut off this like Obium right now because I'm about to do something silly, or I'm gonna just whatever you're about to shut off, and then all of us, or like we were even talking about shutting off like a Graph Digger's Cage or like Curse Totem, things like that. I'm gonna shut this off just for right now. Try to combo. Oh, I didn't get there. Okay, they come back in my end step. That's fine. Yeah, you can go into your turn. Whereas like if I phase a lot of the other stuff out, if the next person gets to their turn, they may still also benefit from that card being gone, and then they get to. But with this, it's like no, it's just I tried to get there on my turn, didn't get there. Sorry, next turn.
Yeah, this card's way better, at least in my head now, than I would have thought. I like it a lot.
We found a good card.
We got one. We found one.
This gets gets the TAGC stamp of approval. Well, maybe not Kyle, but
no, not yet. Kyle has a lot of stuff to say. I'm the easy one, remember?
Yeah. This gets half a TAGC stamp of approval.
Most cards do. Most cards get half a stamp.
All right. Well, I'm gonna move on to the next blue card that I found. So I think that this is also one that people saw and was just like, ooh, that seems pretty good. Spider Sense. So for colorless and a blue, we have an instant with web slinging. I can't say shit right now. For 1 blue. So that's one of the new abilities from the set. You may cast this spell for 1 blue if you also return a tapped creature you control to its owner's hand. And it has counter target instant spell, sorcery spell, or triggered ability.
I like this card. I think that in a world with as many Cradle Farm type decks as we see, and Enduring Vitality being so big, the Springleaf Drums being so big, your Valley Flood Caller type of things, like being able to protect your Kinnan, like let's say you have an Enduring Vitality out by potentially countering the spell by returning a tapped Kinnan or a tapped Dork, right? Whatever it may be, to tap a Dork down to pay for the web slinging ability. Right, you declare the thing, and then you tap what you need to, and then you pay the cost. Right? Yeah. Like I'm pretty sure somebody's going to correct me if I'm wrong about that. I think this is pretty neat, actually. Like, in that they staple on a stifle type effect on top of it, which is kind of unnecessary. But like you can kind of get somebody on their Thassa's Oracle trigger at some point, right? Which would be kind of neat. So I kind of like it. I'm definitely really interested in testing it out.
Can't you also just stifle like your own Pact of Negation trigger?
True. Whoa.
Oh, that's
Pact's back on the table. I'm back into Pact. You just convinced me. Triggered. Yeah. I hacks back on the
Yeah.
table. I'm in. I'm in this.
Yeah.
If you run pack, you probably want to run this.
Yeah.
Draws are
No,
off the
like
table. Oh, I like it.
I definitely
whoa!
think
I just
this.
realized. Wait, you
What?
can. This can stifle what your like final fortune trigger, correct? To lose the game.
Correct. It's a triggered ability. It's a
Holy
delayed
crap!
trigger ability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you just. Yeah. You just like I'm just gonna take this final fortune turn. I'm gonna try and go off. I didn't get there. Okay, I'm gonna stop me from losing the game. Go ahead. Blue
Well,
Paul.
unless they go silence.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were gonna
Yeah,
die
that feels
anyways.
bad.
You were gonna die anyways. If they had a silence, if they held up a silence for your final fortune turn, you were screwed anyways. And so
Fair.
this wasn't gonna save you. Nothing was gonna save
Well, no, actually, wait, what? Because then if they have silence, you just counter it with this.
you. True. Well, it's probably gonna be a protracted counter spell war, unless you're like in my pod, which nobody holds up for anything because we're all irresponsible.
Well, but you know what? I think you brought up a good point when you started talking about this, y'all. Like as far as like the Turbo Cradle decks and pretty much anything that's going to run Rogue Rack, like we're already seeing like a lot of the uses of like the Flare Duplication, the Flare Denials, and in those decks, and like even like Rogsai, things like that. I kind of see this as obviously not be like pushing out Flare Duplication, but like kind of in that same spot where it's just like, I'm gonna, if I tap my Rograk down with this Springleaf Drum, and then for the blue, and then I'm gonna bounce it back to my hand, counter your spell, and now I'm not gonna have to pay the commander tax to recast the Rograk, and that just saves me 2 more mana for whatever else I need to do. That's pretty good to me.
Yeah.
I mean, have you seen a lot of the Louis Soir sacrifice counter spell? Have you run into that much? I have not personally, but like my meta is pretty insular, so I haven't seen it. But if the meta is playing that type of effect, I can definitely see this being played.
I feel like
it's relatively cheap. It's a relatively cheap, right? Yeah. Sorry.
Right.
No, you're totally
no,
good.
no, you're good. You're good.
No.
We're just not used to doing this, so Blake is going to interrupt everyone. So.
No, I'm trying to prioritize the guest. I would like to hear what he has to say, and then I can. They hear my face every week, like they hear what I have to say, so it's fine. But no, I was
hopefully they hear what he has to say every week too.
Very true. You better. They better.
Please.
My boy knows. He knows some jiu-jitsu too. He throws people.
I have in the past, yes.
See,
Not anymore.
See.
Just try my dog.
Yeah.
Hold on. Have you just because I want to ask real quick, have you ever almost thrown a person at an event like Blake has talked about potentially doing?
At an event? No, I don't get that. There's very little in my life that gets me that riled up. Like, yeah, there are definitely things, but like a person, nah, that's almost never gonna happen. Out in public, yeah, just like there are things for sure, but like it's a pretty short list.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Dude, we had somebody join our Discord. It was like what was it, like a week ago? Brandon, which I played against him in the event where I commandeered the dude's One Ring and like everybody just blew up. And he just immediately joins the Discord and he's like, "Hey guys, nice to meet y'all. I'm the guy from the pod where Blake and the guy almost got into a fight." And I was just like, I'm not confrontational. I don't try to start stuff.
Well, I mean, the person decided to join your Discord. You can't be that confrontational, right? Like they didn't try to avoid you, right? Like they're like, "Ooh," unless they came in to literally just talk shit, right? In which case, like, they're probably kicked.
No. I would never. No. He did tell me, he was like, I think you handled that well, which I think I could have handled it better. I probably should have just immediately been like, "Hey, judge," but instead I was like, "I kind of want this One Ring."
Fair. Oh, that's a cEDH player.
Yep, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm going to keep going before Blake starts ranting a little bit more. So I'm going to move on to one of the black spells. And this is one that I feel like got spoiled pretty early on, but we have not talked about it on the channel yet, but this is the Soul Stone. So for a colorless and a black, we have a legendary artifact, Infinity Stone, with indestructible, tap for a black. Then it has this harness ability where you can pay 7 into it, tap it, exile a creature you control, and then this that harnesses the Soul Stone. And once its Infinity ability is activated at the beginning of your upkeep, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Thoughts and opinions on this one?
I'm torn with this one. It's a mana rock that taps for a specific color, right? Without much penalty, right? Unlike like a talisman. Yes, it only taps for one color. So if you're in low colors like Rakdos Pile, I could see this being played. Because if you're in Rakdos, you kind of you have to exile a creature you control, but your creatures are there to be gotten rid of. So at the beginning of your target creature from your graveyard to the battlefield, like that's kind of hot. Like I love to play Abdel lines. I like to play. I'm kind of still really like World Gorger Dragon. Like it's bad, but I love World Gorger lines, right? Like, but no, obviously you don't do this, right? You don't just return a World Gorger Dragon and like lose all of your stuff. But it's not bad. Like it's such a high cost, but it's like I'm such a sucker for cheating things in. I think in low color piles, this is going to be tested. Whether it's good or not, that's a part I'm like really dubious on. I don't know if it's good. Plus, it's going to be expensive as heck. And so,
absolutely, all the arts of it, I feel like, are going to be.
Yes, agree.
Yeah. Blake,
I think this
you're
card's
stewing over there.
once again, dude. Terrible.
Like
so bad. Like I think if you look
which is
at
worse,
the
this or the that one cost blue spell.
I think
creature.
this. Honestly, this, because at least the one cost blue thing can put this into play.
This is true. You're right. No. You have to cast it. You do have to cast it.
Yeah, true. But it you draw one, draw two, and then boom, here you go. No, I think this is, and then if you can make 7 mana, you can eat the blue thing to harness this.
and then you have to wait till your
upkeep.
Yeah.
In order to, so it's kind of like a Portal to Phyrexia at that point. Honestly, it's at that point, it's 7. No, it's the same cost as a Portal to Phyrexia. It's a Portal to Phyrexia with more steps, and your opponents don't have to do anything to their board.
This is more. This is more. The activated ability is more expensive than a Bolus of Citadel.
True.
That's a bad card. True. It's a bad card. No, I think it's definitely one that I think that again, I'm going to use Sisay because that's what I'm known for apparently on this channel. I think a lot of whenever they got spoiled, that's what the Discord was kind of like they were excited about because it is a black pip on a legendary permanent, so it helps towards Sisay in one of the hardest colors to hit in Sisay. And solves that problem of like, oh, if things go to the graveyard, how do we get it back? Because that deck is notoriously bad for being able to recur things from the graveyard. So I mean, it's cool in that aspect, but I don't feel like it's very. I don't think most decks are going to want to play it. I don't see it as something that most people look and go, oh, this is going to be an auto include in every deck that plays black. Absolutely not. Maybe Garrick wants it potentially, but how many people like there's we've know some people that are playing it, but how many people are actually playing that deck in the format right now? So I don't know. It's definitely one that I am kind of like mixed opinions on. It's flavorful. I love the arts. I do think they did a good job with that, but outside of that, meh.
I don't even know if I'd play this in casual. Like it's just so bad. Like I think about even in Sisay, you have to eat one of your creatures, which means you probably are either killing a dork, which technically means that you're going down a mana. If you have bigger dorks then you're going down a lot of mana, and then or if you eat one of your legends, you're probably going down a different color. So I feel like it's like a non-bow with Sisay, and then you gotta wait to get all the way to your upkeep. to do the thing. And even then, like if you lose some
Yeah.
of your creatures, I think it's like like hang on, let me just make sure that I'm not crazy. Return creature card.
You're
Yeah.
not crazy. You're right. You're correct.
Yeah.
Right,
So
no.
like I
From
mean you
your
can't
graveyard too.
yeah, so you can't
Yeah.
return like a Nico Bolas or anything like that with it. Like you gotta return
No.
like I don't know, Marvin maybe or like Iorith. Like if something like that goes, maybe you get that back. I don't know. I think this is
Yeah.
so
I think
bad.
that's why I'm just like, I don't know if I'd play it in the deck. It checks some of the boxes for that deck specifically, but I don't think it's the boxes of just being able to reanimate. I don't think that would be the thing that deck would want to go for first. I think if anything, it is just that it is the color pip and taps for that color that is sometimes hard to hit in the deck.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely agree with everything you guys just said. I do think that this card is definitely below par for what we want. With that being said, knowing that this is one of many stones that are going to be produced, we could be wrong in the sense of the overall effect from all six stones, right?
Yes.
I believe
5?
so. Yes.
Yeah, I think there's
That's
one for
5,
like
6
each
stones.
knuckle and then in the middle, right?
Yeah, plus yeah.
Yeah.
Once they're all assembled, maybe in some kind of weird ass deck eventually, like maybe like the fact that like we don't know for I doubt that it's going to be the case. I'm saying that now. I doubt it, but I'm reserving the right to be wrong later on
Maybe
because of what they print out.
Yeah.
maybe there's like
I
some
think
weird
it's going to end up
alternative.
being.
Go for it, Chase. You got
Go
it.
ahead. You've
No, you do.
interrupted me
Go.
twice. No, to go.
I started talking first, but maybe maybe there's like some alternative win con where if you have all the stones, you just like straight up win the game. I just watched Matt Hayes almost win the game with an alternative win con the other day with Knuckles because he was on Blue Farm and almost had 30 treasures in his upkeep. So like maybe it's some crazy like alternative. I win the game and then that happens, but I don't know. But just playing them to play them. Ugh.
I think 2 players, you randomly, I think the effect's going to be 2 players get removed from the game randomly. It could be you.
Just snap your fingers. Just
I was literally going to say the exact same thing that Blake said, except sum it up by saying it's going to be a coalition victory type thing and leave it at that. So
could you play
short,
this with
simple.
Coalition Victory? Like if you had all the stones and then Coalition?
Would you even play Coalition Victory?
No.
Absolutely not.
No.
No. I'm just saying that it would be a thing of like it could potentially be a you win the game if you assemble all of them, and that'd be it.
I want you to think like that. I want you to think really hard right now. You're contemplating this card, but you're thinking about cutting Ristic Study.
Hey, some decks don't want to play Ristic Study. So that is a discussion for a different day. Okay, let me. Even the semi blue decks right now aren't really playing Ristic Study.
Wow,
I feel like I'm correct in saying that, right? Like, just because you play like 20 copies of Ristic Study and Zur doesn't mean that every deck has to have it. Plus, it kind of like what we talked about last week. If it were to get banned, we're gonna have to get used to playing without it anyway. So
yeah, I can still go get Necropotence with a Zur. I can't go get this.
I'm trying to be nice for our guest. Okay. So
don't be nice. It's totally fine.
He has gotten, trust me, he has gotten more than accustomed. We talk plenty. Like I just send him random stuff all the time. Like we'll go a couple days without talking, and then I'll just randomly be like, "Hey," and then just it'll be some random thing, or I'll talk, just say, "Yeah." He knows. He knows.
Don't worry about it.
He knows.
What's the
other than that? Like I didn't see too much in mono black that I was like super interested in. Now, Blake, I know you were interested in putting together the Gwenum.
Absolutely.
Remorseless. Do you want to talk about that card? And I know we've gone over probably y'all's time for sure. No, we haven't even gotten into anything. But do you want me to mention this card and why, so that way you can explain why you like it?
I'll read it. I mean, I got it. If you want me to.
Okay. Yeah.
Heck yeah. Yeah. Do you know what this card is?
Oh, I'm familiar.
Oh yeah. Okay. So Gwenum Remorseless is 3 and black. It's a legendary creature symbiote spider hero with death touch, lifelink, And when Gwenum attacks, until end of your turn, you may look at the top card of your library anytime, and you may play cards from the top of your library. If you cast a spell this way, pay life equal to its mana cost rather than pay its rather than its mana pay mana value rather than its mana cost. Jeez Louise. I was so close. I was so close. You can tell I don't read. I really like that card.
We're just
I think
simple
this
people.
is just bolus. This is bolus on a body,
Melissa said,
and I like it. And plus,
Yeah,
you get
it's not like
people were saying like, oh well, like it's like you have to specifically find like this and then maybe top. You're in black. You run all of the best tutors in the whole game. You just gotta find a tutor, pay your life into it, even if it's a top deck tutor. Put the top on top, and then go and dig until you find like an Aether Flux or something like that. I mean, it's just Manual Storm. So I mean, I like it. I think it's cool.
Yeah, I agree. I'm pretty into this. I have a friend that is actively brewing and has been brewing this for since it got spoiled and has been getting reps in. I think he went and was able to go play against Ian Comedian over like the last weekend, and they were both really impressed with like just the ability for this card to do its thing, right? Getting you're in black, like you said, so getting the rituals to like realistically try to get this down turn one is a real thing. And then assuming it survives, right? Till turn two, you can kind of go to town. It's not a bad thing at all. Like even if at that point Gwenum gets removed, right? It's because whenever she attacks, so they have to specifically do it before attackers are declared, right? As long as you double check, as long as you've gone to attacks with Gwenum, you get to cast. You've got your Bolus's Citadel effect.
Yeah.
Right. Because if you spell somebody, yeah, the whole thing it gets triggered. So it just gives you permission till the end of your turn after she attacks. That's awesome.
Heck yeah.
And I think
we will see this played.
Yeah, I think it brings up a point, and I don't know, I might be incorrect in thinking this way. Like, I feel like sometimes when we see the attack trigger as opposed to an ETB trigger put onto the card, we kind of view that as like a downside. But I think in this case, it is an upside because you don't want that effect as soon as the Gwenum is coming into play. You want to be able to go into your next turn and then be able to trigger it. With where we're at in the format right now, yeah, people run Swords to Plowshare and some things here and there, but you're not seeing a whole lot of single target removal for things. And the fact that this is the attack trigger, and then once that goes off, even if they don't have the right timing on it, it's too late at that point. So
also underappreciated the fact that it has lifelink, so it gives you potentially two more spells, right? Depending on the CMC of your deck, right? Gaining 4 life after attacks, right? Because chances are, if you swing into even if they block, right, you're getting 4 life. So if you can do this turn, chances are, if you're in black, you probably gave up like. Oh shoot! You probably gave up a good chunk of life, like 5 life. So hopefully this gets you back up to 39 life to kind of go to town, which is real hot, right? Like you can now play Pier and go nuts, and hopefully you rip a Pier to the top of your library and just draw half your library anyways. So this you can play Necro on this. Like it's just all good. Wait, this doesn't let you. Oh yeah, you can't look at the top of your library. It's Bolus's Citadel. No, it's right. I wasn't sure if it gave you that effect. The only thing it's missing is like the ability to tap this and then like sack 10 things and then force people to lose life. Bad card.
Oh man. All right. Now there's probably a few other cards within the mono black stuff that I'm missing, but I'm going to keep moving on. I'm going to move on to red. I think I only have one card here because I think this was the most talked about card in mono red, for at least from what I had seen online. But Spider Punk. So for a colorless and a red, we have a Spider Human Hero with Riot. And other spiders you control have Riot. Spells and abilities can't be countered Damage can't be prevented, and it is a 2/1.
The only time I've seen this played, I convinced somebody to sack it immediately just because of the way that I worded something. They said, "Oh, so spells can't be countered," and I was like, "That means mine too, right?" And they were like, yeah." And then they immediately sacked the creature because they were like, "Mind break trap," and then they sacked it, and I was like, "Okay, cool." And then. So yeah, I don't think this card is. I think because of the fact that it makes other stuff uncounterable. Also, I just think that it doesn't seem like it's not necessarily something I feel like you want to do. Like unless you're playing really heavy into that type of effect, with all the flash speed stuff going around, I would be really afraid to throw something down that just says nothing gets countered, and then you're like, okay,
Right.
now I'm gonna go, and then you're sitting here with like your whatever on the stack. Somebody drops a Valley Flood Caller and they start comboing off, and you're like, oh well, I wish I could sack the Spider Punk. So I think that it's got its like niche weird scenarios, but I don't know. I'd rather just see like Defense Grid or something like that.
Yeah, and I brought it up because I feel like at first glance of this card, when it first got spoiled, most people are like, "Oh, that's cool. That's like almost a Grand Abolisher effect in red. Like that's awesome. We need something like that." And then exactly what you just described of like, someone points out and goes, "Oh, my stuff is also going to not, or my opponent's stuff also doesn't get countered." So
Mm-hmm.
then it just kind of makes it to where, not necessarily in a standstill, but in this meta where everyone's just trying to present a win on top of a win, you open up that door
Mm-hmm.
for whoever has it in hand but was just looking for something to be able to pop off in that moment. So that's kind of where I'm at on this card.
I love cards like this, right? I love cards like this. I like it because the initial reaction from everybody, right, is one thing. But then I love a card like this because like it really forces the community to really evaluate a card, right? And really kind of take a deep look at it. Initially, it seems awesome, like you said, right? Like both of you kind of walked us just right through the feelings of an awesome card. One, because Spider-Punk is awesome, right? I would love to get my hands on the him laying in the web like variant, like want this card, right? Just for myself, like I just really want this card. Um, but I think that you guys just laid it out, right? An effect like that is just. I do think and I do hope that this sees some play because I think it's such a great tool to learn. Maybe uh, at the cost of the table having a good time, right? And like but like it will teach you so much about timing, right? Early game, if you're in a deck like a Rao that you're trying to jam turn 2, right? And resources are low, yeah, maybe this is a good card, right? Because now any interaction that they may have been holding up would be fine. And then the chances of a born is low, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're in a Rao deck, maybe I think this could see play because they are kind of, I'm not gonna say irresponsible, but like they're jamming, right? Like Ristic, I'm
Right.
jamming, right? Fish, I'm jamming, right? It's turn 2. I have my resources. You're at the lowest resources you're gonna have other than cards, right? But you're not gonna have mana, and so the chances, so all they're worried about is free interaction, and so maybe in a deck like that, right? That is just trying to jam, right? Like from the get go. Late game, this card is horrible, right? Late game, I think this card
Absolutely.
can't be deployed, especially in the long grindy games. And so if you're looking to grind it out, I don't think this is a card for you.
Mm-hmm.
If you're looking to just jam and you need to put spells on the stack and you need those spells to resolve and it's turn I think turn 2 really, right? Turn 3 even is like dangerous. Like turn 3 like
Mm-hmm.
3 land drops plus more mana rocks, like that's scary. Whereas like turn 2, if you're consistently trying to win turn 2, I can maybe see this being played. But you have to know the board and know how to read people so well. And
Mm-hmm.
this will teach you because you're gonna jam and you're gonna jam into the wrong time. You're gonna give it.
Fair enough.
Absolutely.
Also,
I know you
but
mentioned, you brought it up in. It's my turn.
Well,
I'm gonna talk.
I was gonna say
Okay.
something. I was literally, it wasn't anything about the card. I was gonna say, yeah, if at any point, because we are long winded, but if at any point you do have to go, just tell us.
You're good.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
No. We're good. We're good. We're good.
Okay.
Well, and I know you used the Ral as the example there. I'm just curious. What do you think about this card as something like a Tolly?
Oh wow. I mean, Atali doesn't care, kind of, right? I played against Atali last night, and Ristics and Espers be damned, right? Like it just didn't care, right? It's going to do its
Absolutely.
thing. So maybe in an Atali, oh crap, like maybe, like I said, like in a deck that kind of doesn't care, right? Like you can do what you want, right? But you kind of have to remove it, and even then, like shoot, Atali just wants the Dino to hit the playing field, and for its spells, like they're already running. It's probably dangerous, to be quite honest with you. It's like too dangerous unless you can sack it as well, like because they can
Right.
fizzle. So I think that it's too dangerous of a card to play in a deck that relies so heavily on variance. Yes, that variance can be very it's built around that, but I don't know. I'm not vouching for it.
He talked himself out of it.
I think I did. I think I did. I definitely think I did.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Atali's good, but I don't know if it's good enough to like also run this.
yeah,
Right.
I think that
It's
I
cool,
think the
though.
biggest thing with stuff like this is like it's not. I think people have to realize like it's not a silence effect. Like the reason the silence effects are good is
Mhm.
because they say no one gets to cast spells. This basically just encourages everybody to cast spells because it's like there's no downside to me just popping off right now. You've given me my window. So I think that it's important to remember that difference. Like they're again, like it's not a silence effect as much as it seems like it may be. I think that this is one of those cards that's it's not saying don't jam, it's saying go, jam, go right now, like send it.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
jam.
Absolutely. All right. I think that's my only one in red that I was kind of looking at. Now, again, I only did my research a little bit before, just in like 30 minutes today. So again, if we are missing anything, drop it down in the comments below. But I'm gonna keep moving on. I'm gonna look at mono green. Now, mono green, I kind of struggled. Now, whenever I'm saying this, like people are already probably be like, "You forgot about talking about Peter Parker and Norman Osborn." They're multicolored to me. So if we're gonna talk about them, we'll talk about them in that section. Y'all, you mentioned something a little bit ago about like liking to cheat creatures into play and things like that, correct?
Damn straight. I do.
Okay. So I was looking at this enchantment, Web of Life and Destiny. So for 6 and 2 green, yeah, it does have Convoke. At the beginning of combat on your turn, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may put a creature card from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order.
At the beginning, comment on your turn. Wow. I'm gonna reach out to Hire and see what he thinks about this
I
card.
was
This
thinking
seems
about
like
Hire.
this seems like a card he would love, right? He brought a card called Lurking Predators, and while I think Lurking Predators better because that one gets triggered on any spell cast, right? And if it's a creature card off the top of your library, it's going into play. This is slower, right? It's only going to happen once a turn. So you can in some kind of Gruul deck with like multiple combats, that could be kind of interesting. Getting getting multiple combats and then multiple creatures out there. I think the saving grace for this card is the Convoke, right? Again, in a
Agreed.
Cradle Farm type deck, you can pretty easily get this into play, right? Kinnan can probably get this into play, and in like these semi-blue decks, I think we'll see this. Whether or not it's like good enough to whether the meta has yet to be seen because it is just really expensive to kind of like get out there. But I think we see this, right? Like with all these semi blue decks kind of seeing play, like somebody's gonna be testing this. You'll see it.
Imagine just
Yeah, no,
flipping a few
I
con
agree with
sphinx.
that. I
What was it?
definitely think that the semi-blue decks will want to test this. I think Kennen could potentially, maybe not right now, but like even when we kind of talked about, in the podcast episode last week, and we brought it up today of like in this world of what if Ristic does get banned? Like look at the way Kennen is kind of built right now, where it's just like the no bad cards and you're copying the Ristic effect, like studies with the copy enchantments and things like that. That deck makes enough mana and has enough creatures that it wants to put on board that it could probably somehow get this down pretty early. Not saying that Kennen decks are going to want to pick this up right away, but in that world where it's just like, what do we have to do now that we are either potentially going to lose, or if we do lose this card, what's our backup options? And it's already kind of giving into the Kennen game plan anyway. It's like you resolve that and you get a free activation.
I will say, this doesn't see play in the newer Abomination type Kinnan pile, like the Freedom Waffle Kinnan, like where they're actually just trying to cast spells. Like, um, you're probably not going to spend eight
No,
mana.
no, no.
You're not going to spend
Right.
8 mana on this, right? But in
Right.
semi-blue variants and where you're trying to get big flips, I know Hire's list no longer runs counter spells, right? He's just trying to get enough mana out to get creatures into play. He's playing lurking
Absolutely.
predators. I don't know if his deck would run something like this, but I think it's pretty cool. Kona could probably play this.
Ooh, Kona could, yeah. I don't play enough green. I gotta start picking up some green stuff and try.
Me neither.
You are the resident enchantment player, Blake.
Yeah.
You should have a lot of opinions on this card.
I love this. I think this is sick, but I just don't have any decks that even in my Enchantress, like my Sithis deck, that's like one of my what
Right.
I loves. I love that deck, but I just don't think that this does enough in that. I mean, the only thing that could happen is you flip into like Sionia, and then you flip another 7 and try to find your like any enchantment like aura that you're gonna throw on there. But I don't know. I don't think that I don't think it would make the cut in my list. It would be nice to be able to.
Right.
I don't I play a lot of enchantments. I don't play a lot of creatures for me to be able to start like convoking it either. But yeah, this is really cool. I could definitely see myself like if I
Yeah.
was building a big flips, Kennen. Like what this card you know who would be perfect for this card? Paul. Paul Murrell. Show and tell
Paul
Kennen.
Burrow would be.
That would be
He plays
exactly.
show and tell in Kennen, and he played. What
Ooh,
else did he play? Mind over
ooh,
matter, and
ooh.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, Paul.
Like I said, I think this card will see play for sure
Yeah.
in some
Yeah.
capacity.
Yeah, Paul flipped. I was literally in a tournament. I was feeling so good. If I won, I was on the winning end. I was like, yeah, let's get there. Was this at Pool Priority? Yeah, no, it was a Pool Priority because that's when you top
Yes.
16. Yeah. Yeah. So we were in like 100 plus player events, 121 players, and I'm like, I'm on the winning end. If I can just win, we're great. Paul turn 2, like show and tell, and everybody's like, okay. One guy flips like a Ristic. Another dude flips like I forgot what it was. I flipped like a Lotho. Paul flips a Con Sphinx, and he's like, GG's. So
It was wild.
this
It
would
was
be
so crazy.
this would be a perfect card for
Love
Paul.
it.
Yeah.
Love it. I do think that decks that'll play this, you're probably looking at least 30 creatures, right? Or more, right? And I think the average right now is anywhere between like 18 and 22, 23. If I'm from like all of the lists I run, I'm not sure what you guys' opinion is on that since you evaluate more lists than I do, at least to talk about, right? I don't know if like this will see a lot of play in decks that are below that, like 20 at 29, 30, like it's at 30% of your deck, but like that's still that might be good enough, but like the cost is again just so high. And so you want like those really big banger creatures to kind of flip into play.
Yeah. I wonder if this would see more play in like a lot of like Staxier decks, stuff that's trying to actively slow stuff down, and then they're just getting to flip like their Staxy
Balin?
creatures. Balin, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I
Maybe
was
Balin?
thinking about it even in because sometimes play like Arden Tana, and like the whole strategy there is just find
Cool.
Godo. And so I was wondering if maybe like you play this
Oh,
and you
secret
can,
Godo deck. Yeah.
yeah, you just flip into some of your creatures that are stacksy creatures, and then eventually if you flip the Godo, then you've got the win right there. Like drop the helm, go to combat, Arden equip it, make Godos. So I don't know. Maybe I'll try that in that. I don't know. I think it'd be cool. Plus, Tana makes all these little like she makes the sapperling, so they're just other creatures to convoke for the web.
Yep.
So I might
Yep.
try
Yep.
that.
Yep.
Chase, what else you got for us?
I think that was pretty much my only mono green card. I'm gonna go over this artifact real quick. Go to that now. I got some multicolored stuff. Um, I'm looking at Peter Parker's camera. So for one, this artifact enters with 3 film counters on it. You could pay 2 into it, tap it, remove a film counter from this artifact, copy target activated or triggered ability you control. You may choose new targets for the copy.
This is gonna see play. I'm so excited about this card. This is like the card I'm most excited about.
Yeah, this card's
Right?
sick.
Like this card is sick, right? For Magda, for Sisay, for that Kilo deck that I was talking about. Like it just being able to, with Kilo being able to reproliferate, like put more counters back on this after you've used it is sick, right? Like you're potentially never going to run out of counters on this to then because you can copy a proliferate to proliferate twice in a turn, right? Like that's pretty cool. I think this card is really neat, and there are a number of decks that will this type of effect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, we
No,
talked about this.
I absolutely.
Go for it, Chase. You.
I'll let you do it this time.
No,
You got
go.
it. I agree with you. I think that this card will see a lot of play. I think the fact that it has low cost, honestly, it's probably a card that you can see at any point in the game and feel good about it. And yeah, the fact that you can even get it off of just like an Urza Saga. I know that that is a land that I think a lot of people kind of debate on cutting or keeping in. Like they think that it has to go in a certain deck. We've talked about the Turbo Cradle decks already in this episode. I don't know if people would want to, on the resolved of the third counter of the Urza Saga, be able to go and get this over like something like the Candelabra, because that card's just insane in that deck and one of the main reasons to play that deck. But this card in particular, like Sisay, Kennen, you mentioned Magda, like there's a lot of decks I think that are going to find ways of abusing this card. And the fact that it can go in everything, I think, is going to be probably one of the more standout cards of this set.
Yeah. We were looking at this in the Zerd Discord because I mean, dude, double Zerd triggers is obviously like really good. So we were asking each other about it. I mean, and it hits activated or triggered abilities you control. So like, again, I don't know if I would play it or not, but it may be halfway decent in Sithis, just being able to like double up some of the draws occasionally. I don't know. Like I probably wouldn't play it in that. It would be nice to like double up your Aether Flux. Like, but I don't know.
Oh yeah, I can see that. I think it's a deck. It's a card that is good, even just like as. I think it'll be. Gosh, this is a big statement, kind of. I think like it's so similar to a Wish Cloud Talisman, right? Like it has a finite number of uses. Less you can kind of figure a way to just bounce it and or flicker it, right? Like what we just talked about the card, hide in the ceilings.
Mm.
Hide in the ceilings, right? Like with this type of card, kind of hot, kind of cool, right? Like now all of a sudden, like you can get down to no counters on it, and then you need to remove the thing, and so you're able to use it for value, and then still get more value out of it with some kind of like flicker effect. I think is pretty neat, and it think it makes I think that it will definitely see it in Sisay, just because like the ability to pay 7 essentially, right? Wooburg plus 2 more to get 2 activations is too good to not at least test out. Like that's just too good to
Absolutely.
not test out. And it may be the thing that kind of helps push Sisay back kind of up, right? Like now it's just another, and I think the only thing is like it's a little easier to hit, right? Like in terms of like counters. So
Chase, do you
and
think
you can't go
Yeah.
fetch it with Sisay.
do you think you'll
Yeah.
play this in
I
flubs?
mean, will I play this in flubs? No. Quit trying to convince me to play that deck so much. I know what I said.
You have it
I
together though, right?
I have it together. I just really don't want to play it at the cookout. And he's trying to make me play this card and this deck
But
at the cookout. So
think of it as the easiest afternoon or day of Magic you'll ever play. You will either go or you don't go. And you bring a book, bring a book, bring a book, read a book, bring a book, and you're just gonna be that person who, in the middle of a giant stack war, you go, I don't need to look at my hand. I'm gonna read my book. Let me know when it's my turn.
Do what Ken
That's
Bauman
flubs
says.
as far as I know.
Ken Bauman says
so it's
stare
kind of
into the middle
funny.
distance.
Yeah.
So I don't play the turbo full list. I play my own version of it where I put Vexing Shusher in there, so I'm
Ooh.
able to interact with the stack.
Okay.
Like need be. Yeah. So I don't and plus, I mean, we're from Kentucky. How much reading are we gonna do anyway? Like I know the books are back behind them. I got these back here. They're not mine. So like that's kind of off the table as is.
Heck yeah.
That's so
So
funny. Oh my god, I love that.
so
Oh.
I'm gonna but I'm gonna keep moving on
Yeah,
because
let's go.
before he tries to get me to talk about flubs some more. So I'm gonna go to the multicolored stuff. The first one I'm looking at is Spider Woman, Stunning Savior. So for a colorless and a hybrid mana of Azorius colors, you have a Spider Human hero with flying and then Venom Blast. Artifacts and creatures your opponents control enter tapped, and it is a 2/2.
I don't like it. I think it's like a Dauntless Dismantler, and that card doesn't see play anymore. It doesn't have the extort for like a Blind Obedience. I think if you just play Blind Obedience. This is boo.
Yep.
No.
So again, this is one that at least from the lens of which I play, and we talked about quite extensively so far tonight, the Sisay stuff where, yes, it is the blind obedience on a body. You don't have the extort ability, but it does count for 2 pips, which is nice in that deck in particular. But even with that being said, I would almost rather play probably Lavinia at times if I'm going to go Azorius. Just being able to like shut off some breach stuff or shut down like some stuff with Lavinia in particular. I don't know. It is an interesting card, and people have kind of been. I've seen where people have kind of talked about this, but I don't know. I think there's other options.
I'll play devil's advocate a little bit. Like I think that in less turbo blue farm lists, this can slow your opponents down while being a Timna attacker. I don't think it's like great. Don't get me wrong, but I think that if you're looking for this type of effect, it's easy to cast, right? You don't have to worry about your pips as much. And it comes in, it turns on a Mox Amber for 2 colors now as opposed to 1, and it's an evasive Timna attacker. Again, I don't know if it's like gonna see a lot of play, but I think that there is some upside to it, right? In terms of being a Staxy, a hate bear, right? There are, like I said, like you said, I think Lavinia is better, but Lavinia isn't like the greatest Timna attacker unless you have like a Downy out.
Playing devil's advocate,
In which case, you're probably not. Yeah.
Playing devil's advocate to the devil's advocate. You don't have to tap Lion's Eye Diamond to make the mana. Lavinia just doesn't even let them cast it. It just they can't put the mana into it.
Oh no! It
You can.
lets them cast LED. It's
Well,
just
they
it's
just
going to get countered.
counter,
Yeah,
yeah.
you counter it. Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Yeah, but this just lets
Yeah.
them put it into play tapped, and then they sack it because they don't have to tap it.
True. True.
So
Creatures-
yeah,
creatures
I mean
can-
it's definitely interesting, and y'all, to your point, yeah, I had kind of considered that of like, because whenever Blake and I were going through and we're seeing the different decks on a weekly basis and things like that, like we see a lot of different variations in these blue form lists, where we do see the more aggressive lists where they're playing the Rain of Filth, or just doing things to try and go a little bit faster. We have the ones that I feel like perform a little bit more consistently, where it's like a very true mid-range typical build of what we're seeing. And then we have seen pieces like I mentioned, we've seen lists that were running Boromir as like a piece to protect the board, but also being able to, like, I guess, being able to use more effects like Fire Covenant or even Toxic Deluges. So like I could kind of see this fitting into that style build, where it's like, okay, let's slow the game down a little bit more, let's stacks out the board, let's develop our game plan a little bit, and then when we're ready to go, we're going to go.
Yeah, otherwise I don't have too much to say about this card. I don't really particularly care for stacks effects that much, so
Yeah.
I probably won't be testing this anytime soon, but
Someone in our
maybe.
local meta will probably try to play it.
Yeah, for
if
sure.
if I had to guess. Okay, so I'm gonna move on. Okay, so the next one I'm gonna talk about is just Peter Parker. So for one colorless and a white, you have a human scientist hero. When Peter Parker enters, create a 2/1 green spider creature token with reach, and then has a transform ability. And whenever you transform Peter Parker, he becomes the Amazing Spider-Man. He's in Bant colors with vigilance and reach. Each legendary spell you cast that's one or more colors has web slinging and pay Bant into it. So on the Peter Parker side, he's a 0/1, and on the Amazing Spider-Man side, he's a 4/4. I think that, I mean, I guess my thoughts on this card, like, I think people kind of look at this and it's like, oh, a Bant food chain type commander to just be able to make infinite 2/1s. I do think that what is a little bit different is that you can actually cast it for just the Amazing Spider-Man side if you wanted to. Typically with transform abilities, you're not able to do that. But this is kind of like a Sika in that way, where you can cast one side or the other. Um, but other than that, I get people wanting to play like specifically food chain. I don't think I fully see the appeal of this card. If you're in this colors, you might as well go with like Derevi or the Dog Thrust decks as is. That's kind of where I stand on this one in particular, though.
Ditto. I have nothing to say about this card. I would love for
Yeah.
somebody to prove me wrong. That's all.
Yep.
This is pretty bad.
And that's kind of where I'm at on it. Like, it's an interesting card. Could be. I don't think the web slinging ability is going to be as good as it wants to be. Now it's good on that counter spell that we talked about earlier. Like, it's very good on that. But I think overall as a mechanic, I just don't see it being something that's impactful to us. It could be for other formats. I mean, it's cool. It's an interesting design, but I don't know. You have a thought there.
I I kind of want to just not rip into it, but like it's the fact that it's like at first when you read it, again, it's one of those like, oh, okay, that's cool, but you only get this for legendary spells, right? And then you also have to have a tapped creature, right? Which in of itself, like you said, like Dog Thrust, like not that bad, but at the same time, like it's another step that you also have to make sure you hit, right, before you can get to do the cool thing. And in this case, you still have to pay Bant, right? And so it's probably not that repeatable, right? Unless you can
And
go infinite.
it's for multicolored
Yep. Well,
spells.
no, it says, wait, what does it say?
One or
I think
more
it's for
colors.
multicolored.
No,
One or more.
it says
Well,
legendary spells
oh,
that
one
you,
or more.
you
Never
cast
mind. Never
at
mind.
one
Yep.
or more. So pretty much any colored legendary spell, but like a lot of the in those colors, in my opinion, like off the top of my head, like the ones you really want out on the battlefield for cheap, only costs like one more anyways, right? Like you want
Right.
like Emil is easier to cast, honestly, as just one white pip plus 3,
Yep.
right? Displacer Kitten is not a legendary, right? Like in those colors, you're looking to um, cheat things in, yeah, but like you're also looking to do more than just legendary creatures.
Absolutely.
And I think
I
that's
think
like the big hang up.
The only
yeah, there's just too many restrictions to this card.
the main thing I was thinking about was like chromatic ori, and then it said one or more colors, and I was like, never mind.
True. True.
So I got nothing for this.
But yeah.
Yeah,
I
me
don't
neither.
have anything else on this. I think that yeah, we've explained
Legendary
enough on that. So I'm gonna
spell.
move on to the next one.
What were you saying?
So the next one I have, or
Legendary spell. I thought it was the only creature, is what I was just saying, and then you pointed out the correct thing, because I've read this card 3 times and I still can't read
All good.
correctly.
It turns out no one reads.
Nobody does.
fair enough.
Eric
right, so I'm
Eric
gonna
is
go
the
on to
only
the next
person I
one
know that
now.
reads from Critical. He's a librarian. He's the only person I know.
It's true. He and I read books, talk books all the time. Sometimes.
Okay. Yeah, there we go. So next one I am going to talk about at least is Norman Osborn. So for
Finally.
a colorless and a blue. Oh, y'all's been waiting for this one. He's like, finally, we get to I think what I think is a good card. So for a colorless and a blue, we have a legendary creature, human scientist villain. Norman Osborn can't be blocked. And whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you connive. And it's a 1/1, but then it has another transform ability. So for a colorless, a blue, a black, and a red, which makes it a Grixis commander, he transforms into the Green Goblin with flying and menace. Spells you cast from your graveyard cost 2 less to cast, and then has Goblin Formula. Each non-land card in your graveyard has Mayhem. The Mayhem cost is equal to its mana cost, and the Mayhem ability is you may cast a card from your graveyard for its Mayhem cost if you discarded it this turn. Timing rules still apply.
That's pretty good. That's really good.
I think it's pretty cool. I think I was tepid on this card at first until somebody, I think somebody on, it was either on a YouTube short, Instagram reel, or something, pointed out to me that it has the ability to just be cast to the backside, right? Like you can just like Horn of on the backside of Berkey,
Yeah.
and what you said earlier, the backside of Essica, right? Sika, whichever, however you want to pronounce that. That made this card that much cooler to me, right? Like the fact that you didn't have to cast Norman for the blue, right, and then flip it, right? The fact that you can just go the 4 costs overall, just go get the backside of this is really cool. And I think that, I don't know, I'd be really interested in testing this out in my version of Kefka. It's a little bit high cost, but not at the same time. You already have a way to get yourself to discard cards. And I don't know, that seems pretty good to me.
Yeah, I really like this. Like just the fact that you can bring it down, and it's kind of its own breach. Like if you just go and you immediately, like even if you gamble and you don't get the right card, it gets discarded, so you can cast that. If you go and you crack an LED, you discard all the cards, you can cast all those. Like the only problem that you probably run into is that you just can't loop the LED. But I mean, at that point, like I I would assume that you can probably find something to like something else to cast to go get like the breach or something like that, and then just start going off. I just think that it seems really good. Or this with like a wheel also seems just
Yeah, absolutely. I think that this is doing the things that Grixis, like a true Grixis mid-range deck. I think it's doing the things that that color pile wants to do.
Mm.
It doesn't have to go extremely fast. So maybe to some extent, like it's still kind of in that range where Kefka's at, potential wise. Like as far as you I don't know, it's weird. It is, but then at the same time, it's so low to the ground. Like you can almost make the argument of like early game, you can almost treat it the same way that Roger is, where it's super easy to cast, and you can turn on your Fierce Guardianships, Deflecting Swats, Mox, Ambers, things like that. And then as you progress into the later game, it's just like, oh, I'm ready to either transform it or I'm going to cast it for the backside, and I'm just going to start popping off here. I don't know. I think that it has a lot of flexibility in that way. I'll be interested to see what people can do with this card.
I like this card as well because it makes cards like Ledger Shredder a little bit more relevant again, right? Like being able to discard a card through other people's game actions is kind of neat, right? Yes, you still have to respect timing restrictions, but like, like you said, I'm also worried about this card because if it does become real prolific, I can totally also see people starting to play rest in peace type effects, which would suck just because I love using things out of my graveyard as well, right? Like, and so I don't think so. I don't know. People are pretty averse to real stacks anymore, so I don't think we go down that route. But who knows? If this thing becomes too popular, the meta will shift. But I don't know. I think the problem with this card is like people will always go, well, Rogsai is still faster.
Yeah.
Right.
It does help though when you can just get Rest in Peace straight out your deck with your commander.
True. Yeah. See,
just saying. No,
see, he's already. That's a warning shot. That's a Blake warning shot.
He targets me all the time, but no, and yeah, I could definitely see that. I think the thing that people will gravitate towards with this is they will see the backside of things and they'll want to build too much into the commander synergy.
Agreed. Yeah, agreed.
With it. And I, you can do a few things here and there. Like you mentioned Ledger Shredder. I think that's a great card as an example to potentially include. Maybe even in my version of this deck that I've put together, Psychic Frog
Ooh,
could be really good with this, because then you just start pitching your cards, you beef up Psychic Frog, you swing, and then now you have access to continue casting these spells, that you want to. So I think there are some good things you can include. Don't overextend it. That's kind of my warning with it, because the shell's already there. What you need to do is already there. Like, don't overcomplicate it.
Yeah.
So,
any other thoughts, Blake?
Yeah, I think it's cool.
Yeah, I think universally this card has been lauded in all cEDH circles. So I'll expect to never talk about it on my podcast. That's for sure.
Yeah, Chase, you missed the chance to plug. You said that's a great card. I was like, brother, he's right there. That's a good card, not a great card. Good.
Hold on, wait. Why didn't you do it? If you thought about it before me, you should have done it.
I actively actually try to not say it as much as I can now.
Really?
Like, it's a conscious thing I do sometimes, unless it's really just too good of a card to not mention.
My favorite thing.
It's actually funny because I try to plug it as much as I can in anything that we do.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
No, we really do. No, it's funny because like I'll be watching other podcasts and the next thing you know, I hear somebody say, "Yeah, the casting cost on this thing." Immediately, I look up. I'm like,
That's us.
What else you got for us, Chase?
Oh my goodness!
Besides
this
just
is
chaos.
This is the last one that I kind of had, and if there's any others that we missed and you guys are just like, maybe we should touch on that, we can. Gwen Stacy. So for a colorless and a red, we have a legendary creature human performer hero that when Gwen Stacy enters, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card for as long as you control this creature. And then it also has the transform ability to Ghost Spider. And now we are in Jeskai colors with flying, vigilance, and haste. Whenever you play a land from exile or cast a spell from exile, put a +1/+1 counter on Ghost Spider. Remove 2 counters from Ghost Spider, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn.
This is... I think there's something there. I'm just not smart enough to do it. And I like the fact that it's like just counters, right? Like it's any counters. So if you can just
Mhm.
put lifelink counters on it, right, or whatever it may be, so almost like a tie-em type of thing. It's like, hey, I just care about counters on this, right? And so, but I think that that's a pretty big hurdle to also jump through for this. This card for me reminds me of my very first, like what I consider my very first like commander deck, which is Prosper, right?
Mm.
Um, but Prosper also gave you a way to exile things like
Yeah.
Yeah.
naturally once per turn, right? But like that's it, and only in Rakdos. And so this kind of reminds me of that, but being in Jeskai might make it better, right? Like I don't know. Jeskai is one of those colors that I want to be more relevant. Just I don't know why. It's just a color, uh, like triangle that I just really like, but I just don't find myself playing it. All constantly. That's why I keep bringing up Kilo because it's like almost there for me, but like
Yeah.
almost it's just a little too cute, and I kind of feel like this might be the same, but I want it to be good, and I
Yeah.
really want it to be. I want a reason to spend more money than I care to tell to my wife about on this sweet altar art with her playing drums and then her this ghost spider in the back. That's just so too cool to me. Like I want one of these cards to be really busted.
Absolutely.
This seems a bit fair.
That's what I was kind of thinking because like it doesn't just say you can play exiled cards because there's cards in the deck like in Magic that just say like exile as many cards you want from your library type or what is it like a is it Thought Lash or whatever you just keep paying 0 and exiling cards or something like that the enchantment you know what I'm talking about like mono blue list will play it
Yeah. The mono blue lists run it for Thosses.
yeah but like
I think I don't know if it's exile or goes to graveyard. I don't remember off
yeah
the top of my head.
but like so stuff like this it's just when it enters exile the top card and you may play that card but if this leaves the field, you no longer get to play it, so you can't really abuse the enters. Go ahead.
Well, that's the thing. So with the transform ability, it's not going to leave the field.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that.
So
I'm just saying like even if you were just like flickering it, like or doing some sort of like bounce shenanigan, you don't get to keep playing the other cards, correct? Like if you displace your kitten it and stuff, because the permanent like it's a new permanent when it comes back
It's a
in, correct?
new permanent, yes, and the permission goes. I believe the permission goes to you may play that card for as long as you can. This creature, and
Yeah,
if it leaves, if it gets flickered, it's a new instance of that creature. I see what you're
yeah.
saying, and so you no longer have permission to cast those original two spells.
Yeah. So then, like, basically, and if you just play it for the backside, there's no, there's nothing in exile for you to play, or that you can even play, because like just because their spells exiled, this doesn't give you permission to play those exiled spells. You almost have to play the front side, then transform it to even get the counter on it, or
right.
just find a way to like put a counter directly onto it with some sort of effect, and then proliferate the heck out of it and then try to go through your deck that way. So I think it requires like way too much setup. But I
Right.
think it could be cool
And
in something like casual. But I just that's the other problem is it's just on enters. I feel like if even if it was like enters and attacks, it could be a pretty good like casual CDH or
hold on a
casual
second, Blake.
EDH
Hold
card.
on a second, Blake.
Wow,
Hold on a second. Y'all has something important to say.
go
No,
for
no,
it.
I don't think it's
Hold on a
important. Actually, I'm trying to think through the line. Like, I think it's now a weird uh Agatha's is it an Agatha's deck somehow? Because like if you can then get a walking ballista underneath this, but like you still there's no natural way to put counters back on this. There's something here, and it's really convoluted. But that's Jeskai, right? Like that's playing in Jeskai. It's convoluted. You don't get a straightforward, easy way to win the game. You've got to jump through. You've got to make your own hoops and then jump through those hoops. Is how I feel like
Absolutely.
you when you play Jeskai or like otherwise you don't get like okay, here's a Thoracle, here's a breach. Like, yes, Jeskai still gets to play Breach, Brain Freeze,
Yeah,
and it gets to play Sabine. So I guess it does have one set of hoops that it can just kind of go to. Um, But in order to kind of abuse this one, I say this a lot. It's one of those like it seems too fair,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like the way to get to the stuff is cool, but it's fair. It's just very fair. It's not that abusable, right? I would even say the dog shit one blue card is more unfair, right?
Than
Yes.
this.
Than this, right? Like that one's like you can abuse that one, right? There are ways to at least untap that to do multiple like spell like artifacts like that you can cast for free. This man, but maybe I'm missing something. Prove me wrong. Leave a comment down below
Yeah.
about
I'm
what you think, and like even if you think I'm trash, like leave
See,
interact with them.
what you didn't know is that, before we started, Blake and I, our goal was to get you to say that a card was dog shit. And you just did it. You just
You should have told me that from the beginning. I would have said that right off the bat. I censor myself for the sake of my podcast, but like, oh,
I'm
I have
just
to fight
joking.
Oh, dude, I have to fight
I was
all
just
the
glad you
time.
said it. I was just
Oh
glad that you
boy.
said it. No, but no, I think just as much as with the Norman Osborne card, and we said that it wants to do Grixis things. I think that Gwen Stacy, and to some extent, is doing Jeskai things. But you're exactly right. There's a lot of steps, and there's a lot of like very convoluted ways to get there, and like it has pieces, and it wants to do something. It clearly does, but it's either it's too fair or it doesn't have that other color, or in this case, a fourth color, in order to actually make it as busted as the potential it has.
Yeah.
You know, now, maybe I don't know. I don't, and I think that that's why, like, even if we look at Blue Farm, like most people make the argument of like Blue Farm can either be in a Grixis shell or it can be an Esper shell. Most people don't talk about Blue Farm being within like a Jeskai shell and then adding cards to that. Like that's
That's fair.
We've even
yeah.
heard recently. I mean, if you listen to Zach Adler when he was talking about it, he literally was saying that his blue farm list is in like almost like a Mardu shell. So it's like you said, there's Esper, Grixis, Mardu. I've never heard anybody say I'm playing a Jeskai blue farm. I've never heard that.
It's just too bad. Jeskai is cool. I think it's really cool. It's just I don't know. I've wanted to play Narset, but like Narset is still arguably better than Gwen, right? As it stands right now. And again,
Yeah.
I'm really hopeful somebody comes along and just proves us wrong, right? Like and just really shows the power. And like that's why to go back all the way to the beginning, your first question to me about Universes Beyond. I hope this set attracts somebody who doesn't play Magic and is so enamored with Gwen and really pushes this card beyond what we think it's capable of to just prove a point, right? Because they like the card and the character so much. So I'm really about the Universe versus Beyond cards because somebody may come along that wouldn't have touched Magic otherwise. So maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Absolutely.
I'm a pretty big Gwen Ghost Spider fan though. So I want this card. I want this card to be.
Yeah.
But
We're going to talk about this now, and then within the next week or so, Ian's going to come out with a video about how he took
well,
first place at an event with Gwen Stacy.
Gwen. I mean, Ian can play with almost anything, right? Like he could play flubs and has played flubs.
Yeah.
And done
And won that
relatively
event.
all right with right. Yeah. So yeah. I expect
Yeah.
him to like do some cool stuff with like cards like this.
See, there we go.
Yeah.
I found the card for it because you were saying it's an Agatha's list. I was thinking in my head, I was like, okay, if you could do like a devoted druid thing, but I was like, oh, you ain't got green. But here's this thing. It's called Hopping Automaton. It's 3 colorless, and it has a 0 activated ability that says this creature gets. Oh, never mind. It's not a counter. Never mind. Whoops, messed up. I thought it said put a
Just
-1,
-1,
-1.
-1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say just put 2 of them and then remove them. No, it just gives it -1, -1. Never mind. Yeah, this card's bad. This card's so bad.
It's too fair, right? Like
Yeah.
It's too fair, right? That's the big thing. It's like it's so close to being, and it's like why two like counters? Why do you have to remove two, right? Like if it was just one, ooh, right? Like you play a spell, it replaces itself, you boom, and that's why, right? Like they actively made it not be broken because of, um, like they don't want like a VV or of effect because they do have to play. They have to worry about standard,
True.
right? Or
Yeah.
which is fair, right? Like
Yeah.
that's the
Absolutely.
that's the format. Did you have another card?
That's all I had. That's all I had on my list. I know that was kind of an extensive, long list for a short amount of time. I kind of put things together. Are you seeing anything else that kind of stands out to you now that we have kind of been going through and talking about some of these cards?
No, I mean uh, I've only like dug in as much as like you guys kind of have had before this. Like I haven't really looked at everything fully. Like now that I do have a Sisse deck together, what I'll probably do is like look at all the legendaries, which this set seems to have a lot of, but I don't think most of them are relevant. I don't
Mhm.
have that much time to jump on the Sisse Discord, so I don't get the benefit of like people kind of doing that work beforehand. So I like to kind of take a look and see after the fact. And like I said earlier, because of the podcast, sometimes I wait until months later. Right, like right now, I'm still going back through like Wilds of Rain and Takir. Right, like it's like that
Wow.
was only 2 sets ago, but it feels like forever ago. And so, like, because in the collective mind that seemed like a while ago, I could probably bring up a card from there that like is only starting to see play, and I won't get comments about how that card's already good and always has been good. Why are you bringing this? But yeah, I don't really have any other cards. I've really enjoyed this.
And we appreciate you obviously taking the time to be on. I've been wanting to chat with you forever, so and I'm sure we'll have to get some like this was more structured even than I wanted it to be, but I
I
tried to
needed
be
this. I needed that.
yeah, but we need
When
to
I
we'll
tried to
have to
derail, I really otherwise like, man, I can't wait for Kyle to look at this and go, "What you spoke for however many hours? There's no way I listen talk for 2 hours about nothing."
heck yeah.
He gets it on a weekly basis.
Heck yeah, dude. No,
Man, we spend a lot of time talking about nothing. Thank you for being part of the process of that today, because this is what happens like almost every time Blake and I get together, where it's just like we might have some general layout or general idea of what we're discussing, but then I'll get over to his place. He goes, "What do you want to talk about?" I go, "What do you want to talk about?" And then we go back and forth for about an hour or two before we actually get into anything. So thank you for joining us in this journey of chaos that the Cast and Cost podcast is for today for this. Because I am looking forward to the set. I think that the cards that were mentioned today, these are things people I think are kind of looking at, speculating, but you know, if anything, trying to get like more honest opinions on what is going to be in the space or what people are going to be testing and things like that. So us being able to go on here and kind of go, I don't know if that's the best thing or not. We'll see. Time will tell. You know,
Time will tell.
time is the only thing. Time will tell on that one. So, is there anything that you would like to say before we do wrap things up? You know, just kind of
Once again, if you're one of the 80% of listeners right now that have not hit that subscribe button for Casting Cost EDH, right?
guess it goes CDH.
I Casting
yeah.
Cost CEDH. I knew there was an extra C in there. If you haven't done that, please do so now. Hit that subscribe button if you've enjoyed this, or if you haven't, you can subscribe right now, and they'll keep track, and they'll never ask me on again. Right? If you want to make sure that that doesn't happen, hit the subscribe button. Let them know. Please don't have this person back on again. Subscribe to them, and they'll know, we'll never ask him on again. Otherwise, if you enjoyed this and you want to hear more from me and my co host, I run a channel. That's a good card. It's okay. Come join us. We talk about cards.
It's pretty good.
That's all.
Hey,
It's pretty good.
it's more than okay. That's a good podcast.
That's a good podcast.
So
There you go.
I appreciate it.
that's a good podcast. Yeah,
No.
seriously, like go check out the content that they are putting out over on That's a Good Card, because they are putting in a lot of good work, and they are providing a lot of really good perspectives on things that we wouldn't have otherwise thought of. So I know Blake and I both, we really appreciate not just the work that you and Kyle put into that, but your time tonight and working with us and recording some of this and the banter back and forth and things like that. So thank you for doing this with us today.
It was a pleasure, guys. Like, I really enjoy this. Like, I don't take at all what this is for granted. We're just three people who like Magic, who get to talk about Magic, and somehow people want to hear what we say. Well,
that's the weirdest part.
And that's it's so cool.
It's
right?
so weird.
It's just so cool, and it's not lost on me at all. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, Chase, you got anything, or you wanna do your typical wrap up?
Dude, I ain't got shit. So I guess I'll do the typical wrap up after that. So yeah, if you have enjoyed this episode of our breakdown of some of these cards from the new set that's coming out, again, like and comment and let us know what you enjoyed. Let us know what you missed. Just tell us our opinions are wrong. Whatever you want to do, just drop it down there in the comments. Subscribe. Go check out That's a Good Card. And as always,
go play some cEDH.
Right now, stop this video. Go play some cEDH.
What are you doing?
Go proxy off one of these commanders and play them.
Dude, I'm so sorry about the fucking lighting that is the
Brother.
setting sun of.
You are all good. I've actually been enjoying it, if nothing else.
That's good. I'm so glad. Honestly, my room is so warm. It was actually really nice out here, even though I'm sitting staring into the sun. I'm so sorry that you're getting to watch the sunset upon my face.
Aw,
You're good.
no,
We
absolutely
honestly
not. That's-
we just appreciate you taking the
it's
time, because I
beautiful.
know we're eating up a ton of time, but like we
Oh
just
no,
appreciate
you're
you
good.
taking the
You're
time.
totally good. My dog can wait. He's fine.
So
Actually, my
I
wife came home.
apologize.
You guys saw my wife come home, so you guys are good.
Yeah.
I do respect the locks though.
My-
You got some nice locks.
Thanks, man. Hey, I'm
My laptop like
40
freaked
and
on me.
I still have most of my hair. I'm ahead of the game.
There you go, brother. There you go.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Chase, you're old as
Well-
shit. How old are you?
Hey, fuck you. I will be 33 this
There you
year.
go.
Oh,
So-
you're so young.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So,
I'm the youngster.
Blake,
of the
are you
group.
ready to move on to
Yeah.
the next one?
I am.
Okay.